You probably eat rice, bread, or potatoes every single day, and every time you do, your blood sugar rises. That's completely normal. But when those rises become frequent and excessive, they can contribute to insulin resistance, accelerate aging processes, and increase the risk of metabolic disease. The good news? You don't have to give up your favorite carbohydrates. In fact, the way you eat carbs often matters more than how much you eat. Today, I'm going to show you 6 science-backed strategies to enjoy your favorite starchy foods while minimizing blood sugar spikes, and every one of them is backed by real research. Cook, cool, and reheat. One of the most powerful blood sugar hacks costs almost nothing. When you cook rice, potatoes, or pasta and then cool them in the refrigerator overnight, something remarkable happens at the molecular level. The starch undergoes a process called retrogradation. The starch molecules reorganize into a more tightly packed structure that digestive enzymes have a harder time breaking down. This creates what's known as resistant starch. Instead of being rapidly converted into glucose, some of it passes through the small intestine and feeds beneficial gut bacteria. Those bacteria then produce short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, which support gut health and help reduce inflammation. Even better, studies show that much of the resistant starch formed during cooling remains even after reheating, although the exact amount varies depending on the food and cooking method. So yesterday's rice or potatoes may produce a lower blood sugar response than freshly cooked versions. Some studies also suggest that adding a small amount of fat, such as coconut oil, before cooling may further increase resistant starch formation, although more research is needed. For maximum effect, cool the food in the refrigerator for about 24 hours before reheating and eating. Use acids before or with your meal. Apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, and lime juice can all help reduce blood sugar spikes. They work through 2 important mechanisms. First, they can slow the activity of digestive enzymes involved in breaking down starch. Second, they slow gastric emptying, meaning food leaves your stomach more gradually and glucose enters your bloodstream at a slower pace. Research has found that consuming vinegar before or with a carbohydrate-rich meal can significantly reduce post-meal glucose excursions, with some studies reporting reductions of around 20 to 30%. Acetic acid may also improve insulin sensitivity for several hours after consumption. A practical approach is to mix 1 to 2 tablespoons of vinegar into a large glass of water and drink it before a higher carbohydrate meal. If vinegar isn't your thing, adding lemon or lime juice to your meal can also help. Eat your food in the right order. This sounds almost too simple to matter, but clinical studies consistently show it works. Start with vegetables, then eat protein and healthy fats. Save your starches and carbohydrates for last. Fiber from vegetables slows the movement and absorption of glucose through the digestive tract. Protein and fat stimulate hormones such as GLP-1 that slow digestion and help blunt blood sugar spike. In one study, researchers found that eating carbohydrates last reduced peak blood glucose levels by 36 to 73% compared with eating the exact same meal with carbohydrates first. Same food, same calories, different order, dramatically different glucose response. As a general rule, avoid eating carbohydrates completely on their own. Pair them with fiber, protein, healthy fats, or ideally all 3. Move after you eat. One of the fastest ways to lower blood sugar after a meal is simply to move. Even a 10 to 20-minute walk within about 30 minutes of finishing a meal can substantially reduce post-meal glucose levels. When your muscles contract, they pull glucose directly out of the bloodstream and into muscle cells through GLUT4 transporters, a pathway that doesn't rely entirely on insulin. This means even people with insulin resistance can benefit. You don't need a gym, a brisk walk, climbing stairs, doing household chores. The key is to move soon after eating. Choose better carbohydrates. Not all carbohydrates affect blood sugar the same way. Highly refined carbohydrates often behave like kindling, burning quickly and producing a rapid rise in blood sugar. Less processed whole grains act more like slow-burning logs, releasing energy more gradually because their natural fiber structure slows digestion. Whenever possible, choose minimally processed, high-fiber carbohydrate sources such as oats, barley, beans, lentils, quinoa, and intact whole grains. These foods generally produce a steadier glucose response and keep you feeling full longer. Pay attention to timing. The timing of your carbohydrates matters too. Your body tends to be more insulin sensitive earlier in the day and less insulin sensitive later at night. As evening approaches, rising melatonin levels can reduce insulin secretion, making it harder for your body to handle large amounts of glucose efficiently. As a result, the same meal can produce a significantly higher glucose response at 10 p.m. than it would at noon. Whenever possible, eat larger carbohydrate-containing meals earlier in the day and try to finish your last meal at least 3 hours before bedtime. Final thought. What's remarkable is that none of these strategies require giving up carbohydrates. You're eating the same foods, but changing the way your body processes them. Cool your rice and potatoes. Add a splash of vinegar or lemon. Eat vegetables first. Take a short walk after meals. Choose less processed carbs. Avoid late-night eating. These are small changes, but together they can produce surprisingly large improvements in blood sugar control, energy levels, and long-term metabolic health. Sometimes the most powerful health interventions aren't about eating less, they're about eating smarter.